mean guitar riffs. In the previous video, a lot of you mentioned many riffs that should have been included in the list, and I agree. That's why I'm making a second video on this topic. And by mean riffs, we mean riffs that immediately made you get that stank face, you know? So today we're gonna be checking out 10 more mean riffs. Again, in no particular order, of course. I got my trusty LTD M10 right here, so let's just get right into it. The first riff we're gonna be checking out is from a band that a lot of people mentioned in the last video, and I do agree that it should have been included in the first video because they have just so many just monstrous riffs. And of course we're talking about Dying Fetus with In the Trenches. This is probably their most hardcore adjacent riff that I ever heard from them, and I think this is one of the most representative of their musical roots and how they incorporated those hardcore elements to make the slammy breakdowns we know them for. I could have chosen any riff from this song, but I'm going with the final breakdown of the song because it's just so good. Up next, we're gonna be checking out another band that was mentioned a lot and should have been included on the first list. A band that has many absolutely pummeling riffs. Of course, we're talking about Gojira with In the Wilderness. In the Wilderness is probably one of my top 3 favorite Gojira songs of all time. As I just said, I could have picked many songs from this band. They just have a surplus of nasty riffs. But I'm choosing the intro riff to In the Wilderness, so you get that really big, nasty sensation of absolute aggression that Gojira had in this era. Let's slow things down a little bit and get real sludgy, because following this list we got Crowbar with Counting Days. I had Neurosis in the first video, so it just makes sense that people ask for some Crowbar. And I think this specific Crowbar album is just chock full of mean riffs. So basically I could have chosen any song from this album, but when I was listening back to it, the intro to Counting Days just felt right. Let's switch things up yet again, because up next we're gonna be checking out some modern hardcore. Next up on this list is Kublai Khan with Ant Pile. Oh, sorry, much better. I don't know how much of a basic pick Ant Pile is. I'm not the most well-versed in Kublai Khan's discography, but this was the first song I heard from them without knowing it was them. The first one knowing it was them was of course Theory of Mind. I just heard this song by coincidence and thinking the intro riff to it was just nasty. It's just a really fun song to throw down. Man, I just love riffs so much. It's what I live for. Literally. But you know what I don't like living for at all? getting my data stolen. I know what it's like getting to the pain and the stress of getting your accounts hacked. I had my channel hacked 2 years ago. That's why I feel much safer now that I'm using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically sends opt-out requests for me. Believe it or not, your full name, email, home address, as well as your relatives' information, it's all out there in public. And data brokers are constantly looking to steal your information to sell to scammers and anyone else who might want to target you. When I got my accounts hacked, I was really scared of what might happen and just the possibility of never getting them back at all. By cleaning my data, Aura not only reduces the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use this information to access my social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. And believe me, from personal experience, it's probably one of the worst things you can go through. I didn't used to be one to give a second thought to using stronger passwords and monitoring my accounts for weird activity. When I first got my accounts back after getting them hacked, I started downloading VPNs, antivirus services, and as many security measures I can think of. And after a while, all of that started running me for quite a bit of money. The best part about Aura is that I don't have to download a bunch of apps and spend a ton of money just on keeping my data secure. I never thought something like this could ever happen to me, and don't think for a second it couldn't happen to you. Better be safe than sorry. I value my privacy and I value yours, and so should you. You can go to aura.com/jojo or click on the link in the description of this video to start your 2-week free trial. But now, let's get back to the riffs. Up next, we got the masters of mean riffs, Pantera with Throes of Rejection. Far Beyond Driven is probably the most neglected Pantera album for me. I've heard Cowboys from Hell and Vulgar Display of Power many times, but I don't think I've spent enough time with Far Beyond Driven. Someone mentioned the ending breakdown of this song in the previous video, and man, does it go hard. Let's switch it up again, because up next is the band on this list I was the least familiar with their material. It's Soundgarden with 4th of July. I wanted to include another grunge band on this list to have some variety, and a lot of people mentioned 4th of July by Soundgarden in the comments of the last video, and I was really impressed with this song. If you take out the vocals, it sounds like a very sludgy, doomy kind of metal song. And I'll have to admit it, my guitar tone is kind of doing a bit of the heavy lifting here, but it's still a very heavy sounding song. Following that, we got one of the bands that I've been getting the most into in this year, which I've heard before, but I never really delved deep until very recently. It's Converge with The Saddest Day. Every month since January of this year, I've been getting into a different Converge album, and this is one of the most aggressive and just raw sounding out of them all. And the riff that I chose from this song is one of the breakdowns in it that just has this specific kind of attitude that I've been really vibing with. Moving along, we both know that we couldn't end this list without some thrash on it. So next up is a very fun thrash metal project. It's SOD with March of the SOD. This is probably the simplest riff out of the entire list, and it just has the perfect amount of attitude to be included here. Nothing like a good mid-80s thrash metal groove. And now we got a song that is very near and dear to me. It's Slipknot with Disaster Piece. This song is tied with 3-0 for my favorite Slipknot song, and it's probably one of the first times that I ever heard a blast beat. And you know how much I love blast beats. But somebody in the comments of the previous video mentioned the breakdown of Disaster Piece, and I hadn't listened to it in a while, and boy is it just as heavy as the first time I heard it. To end this list, we got a band that has just been getting heavier and heavier, and with that, surprisingly bigger and bigger. It's also a band that I listen to very frequently, especially at the gym. It's Knocked Loose with God Knows. Oh, hold up. There we go. Honestly, I could have picked any riff from their most recent albums, or just any riff at all, but recently I was listening to this EP in the gym, and I don't know, it just has a very particular kind of attitude that I was really digging, and the way it just makes you want to throw down, it's perfect for this list. Just enjoy it. But that will be all for this video. If you like it, please click the like button down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and click the notifications bell down below so that you never miss a new video. Let me know in the comments down below what other mean and nasty riffs should have been included on this kind of list, and let me know, just in general, what kind of videos you would like to see. I always like hearing from you guys. A big shout out to my Patreons who will be appearing on screen right now. Any help I can get goes a long way for me continuing making these videos and being able to improve them. And if you would like to get raw stem tracks from the recordings of this video, you can get them by joining my Patreon. If you would like to watch another video full of mean and nasty riffs, you can watch it right here. All my social media links and my Discord server link will be in the description down below as always, so please go ahead and check it out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.